Hi, everybody. It's Pete Skjold, Skjold Design Guitars. I want to discuss body styles and kind of tell you a little bit more about what went into them, what my design goals were, how they evolved from the 92, which is this one here. I designed this back in 1992 for myself as a working bass player. I was playing Tobias bass guitars at the time, and the company was sold to Gibson, so I was kind of looking for another bass. And met a luthier in New Hampshire named Chris Pern when I was living out there. And he said he'd build a bass if I designed it. So basically what happened in 1992, I came up with I wanted a very compact body. This is only about 12 and a half inches wide. So this instrument allowed me, I'm about 5'11", so I didn't want anything too big and bulky like a jazz bass. I wanted something a little more compact for the clubs. Something that balanced well, and something that, like I said, was compact, so I didn't have to feel like I was carrying a lot of weight on my shoulder all night. So that's where that body style came from. And it was, like I said, it was designed for me personally. I didn't design this with a mass market approval in mind when I had it made. But it had, it does have a lot of appeal to a lot of people. So it was my flagship model when I first started building basses, which now we're going on 10-year anniversary for Skjold Design Guitars. So anyways, that's where it started. From there, we transitioned over to the Offset 92, which still basically has the basic outline on the top. Okay?
Sure.
I can show you this better this way to show you how it morphed into staying basically like that and shifting everything down to one side. And what that allowed me to do was do more extended range basses, 6 strings and 7 strings. It also gave me a bigger area to put control layouts in.
So it's also, that would be more, if you see the front of that, that's more of the P bass ideal, having the waistline the same versus a jazz bass with the offset waistline, literally why you call it the offset, correct?
Right.
It has to do with the waistline.
And I offset the whole lower horn off away from the body.
Sure.
And kicked it out a little bit, just stylistically. At the time I kind of dug that. The original design basically had everything transition from the bridge. I put the bridge at the very back of the body.
Right.
And that's still part of the design of all the Skjold
Yeah,
basses.
you can see clearly exactly where that goes.
Yeah. So, you can tell it's pretty much still the same bass for the most part until it gets to this part here. From there, I wanted to do something that was more along the lines of a what they call a single cut, but it wasn't really a single cut design because it still was a bolt-on version, and it had a different way that it attached versus the way the single cuts are made.
Those other single cuts are usually neck throughs, right?
Yeah, they're usually neck throughs, and they're attached up here. Well, I didn't want to attach it up here. I wanted to leave it a little bit more free floating. So again, you can see where this actually follows that contour pretty close.
Yeah, it's exactly the same other than the single cut, right?
Right. And basically what this does
and that's a template that you're holding right there.
Yeah, this is just a template. But that gives you an idea of, how that ended up looking and working. And so what's cool about this is it adds more mass to the body up here, so you actually get a fullness that gets involved into the shape and the sound of the body. So that's where that started. From here, I started collaborating with Damien Erskine, and we both discussed it and decided that he needed a lower horn that allowed him to sit and play at the same time.
And I'm just going to interject here because
Yeah.
I went with a Slayer myself, and we'll see that body style in a second. And this horn he's about to show you makes this bass literally the most comfortable sitting bass of all time. And I do a lot of Broadway things, and so I'm sitting a lot. And I mean, man, it just cups, this right here just cups your leg, and it's an amazing seated bass.
Yeah, so
the best I've ever held. I'll just simply say that.
So that was the design aspect that came into this version, where now I wanted to have that extended horn.
Yep.
Because this bass was really designed for the standing and performing bass player. This is really what it's designed for. Mm-hmm. And it's weighted and balanced perfectly for that purpose.
Yep.
If you sit down, because of where the extension is, it's back here farther, it can feel like you're shoving it one way or the other.
Shoving it back a little bit, yeah.
So for the people who do want to sit down and play, we made sure that we did something similar to that. So this became the Damien Erskine whaleback. And this is a very popular body style. It also helps to incorporate the chambering for the catacomb models.
Right.
And that's a very cool thing that we've done as well. So that was at that time, which would have been around 2010, 2011, this was the newest body shape. Then I started looking at it and I said, you know what if I made this into a double cut now? Because now I kind of went back with a single cut, but what if I made this back into a double cut? And that was the evolution of the Skjold Slayer.
That is such an, I mean, that's the option I went with. That's just such an elegant looking body style. Not that the others aren't, but
Yeah.
that just grabbed me immediately when I saw that base.
So I did do some change. Again, it's very similar. And if you look at the points, the pinpoints are very similar. The cutouts are very similar, but I had to make it more like a double cut version than a single cut version.
Yep.
So that's how that came about. And this has become probably my most popular body style overall.
I think that's going to be an iconic model over the ages. It really will be.
Now, in the same time I was getting into this, I was also getting requests to do more traditional body shapes, more of the Fender style, Fender inspired instruments. And it kind of intrigued me because I'd never really paid much attention to Fender in that way. So when I did, I basically got into doing what is considered the Lion's Pride.
Which is a great name, by the way.
Leo's
Lion's Pride, yeah.
Pride and Joy, which is the jazz bass. So this is based on that model, which is a jazz bass. It's not a jazz bass, but it's based very much on that model, and it has the pickups in the same exact spacing as the 60s and the 70s jazz bass. So and the string spacing and the neck and everything are very similar to what he did. So it's kind of taking those same blueprints, but putting my own twist on it, and that's how I came up with the Lion's Pride A style. So
yeah, a lot of guys make them that they look exactly like a Fender, and this it obviously you know what its roots are, but you put your own little riff on it with the pick guard.
Yeah, I didn't want to copy a Fender, and I didn't want to go too far with it. I mean, I still wanted to offer all the things that make a Skjold bass. So this is a Skjold bass in the outline and silhouette of a more traditional looking instrument. And the headstock on this instrument is more traditional looking too.
Got it.
From there, obviously, if you have a jazz bass type instrument, you've got to have a P bass type instrument. So that's where the B style came in. And I don't make a lot of these, but the ones that I have made have been phenomenal instruments. They just have a certain thing that goes on with these. And I incorporated a dual P pickup, which was a P pickup and a reverse P pickup that you could switch back and forth. So the models I've done typically have had that kind of pickup.
In the traditional spot.
So yeah, it's very P bass, but it also has a lot of modern tones for and you can do it passive and it sounds great.
Yeah, but there needs to be flats going on that guy right there.
Yeah, I'm kind of keeping that one for myself.
Oh, really? You are? Okay.
It may not go out the door. This is my newest model, and this was made as an answer between the more modern designs I do and the traditional models. This was the Gen series, and it's taking a lot of the same classic lines that are kind of out there already that we've seen, familiar lines, and just making it into a more traditional looking instrument, something that doesn't polarize your eye, your view when you see something like this, which is very distinctive looking,
right?
Or a Skjold Slayer. You get something that's still modern, but doesn't jerk your eye too much one way or the other.
That's tasteful.
It's tasteful, right? And some people really dig that. It's a little more. I don't want to use the word traditional, but it's definitely more familiar, and but also originally done. I mean, I didn't copy anything. I actually sat down and really worked these lines independently of anything else. So I'm happy with the way it came out, and the bases seem to be.
You're building one for yourself on that body style,
right?
Yeah,
right.
That's going to be a 33-inch 4-string.
Correct.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, his 33s are great, guys. So fun.
So yeah, that's that's pretty much how I've evolved over the last 10 years with my designs. And the 92 is actually 20 years old, or over 20 years old now.
Wow, time flies,
So,
right?
yeah, unfortunately. One of the newest things I'm doing, though, is I'm also resurrecting the JP designs. JP, who's a French luthier, stopped building in 2005, and we're good friends. And I've always liked his designs. His bases are very similar to mine in the way they're constructed and some of the features. So about a year and a half ago, 2 years now, it's been in development. I've decided to take him back over, and he's allowed me to reintroduce him. So that's pretty much what you see here are the new JP models.
Right, let's see a couple of those.
Yeah, we have the plume. That's going to be a beautiful base, and I'm doing them very traditionally to what some of the body styles and body woods he used to kind of echo the same models that he already introduced.
Great.
Okay, so
What we got under there? A single cut version.
yeah, we have a Zia. This one is going out to a customer already, and this is a camphor burl top. This is pretty phenomenal.
It's great there can be the camaraderie between builders that you can take over his style when he didn't really want to build them anymore.
Yeah, I think he was smart enough to know he should get out of the business, and I kept going. He builds eco-friendly homes now in France, so
Nice.
but it was a shame to see something that I really liked the look of, and I think a lot of people were into it. So I think it's great that it can be available. It's still my version of the base, but the designs were, I thought, fully recognized and fully realized that. Oh man, look at this.
Beautiful.
So there was no reason to not try to bring them back.
Right. Nice. What do we got underneath that? What's this guy?
This is a myrtle top. And to be honest, I can't remember the exact body shape on this one.
The name, right? Well, we certainly can see it. Look at that thing.
There are a couple.
It's very sleek looking, and you can tell it's good. Your right arm's not getting caught up right there in the playing position.
Yeah, and what I really like about his designs is they offer an alternative to what I already do, and they're still modern. They're still very, very. I wouldn't say artsy, but they have a lot of that quality to them. They have a lot of the boutique quality to them, which I really like.
So if people haven't seen the other videos yet, that's mineral spirits that you're putting on there to bring out more what the grain will look like on a finished version.
Yeah, and that's the.
Well, that doesn't suck, Pete.
No, I dig it a lot. That's just sweet. This one's going to Japan, to a dealer in Japan, and
Nice.
yeah.
Great. Well, thank you for going over all the body designs you have. I mean, that's really informative. If people can see all those.
If anybody ever has questions about it, obviously they can email me or
Right.
give me a phone call, ask me more in-depth questions about them. But that's the basic overview of what I've done with the body styles and some of my design goals behind each one of them.
Nice. We'll zoom in on that stack before we leave. It's a lot of work ahead of you, sir.
Yes, unfortunately. I mean, yes.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.